Okay guys, in today's video I'm going to be talking about how I got out of drawdown, and if you're in drawdown, exactly the step-by-step guide to get out of drawdown. You can see my end of 2024 results. I've documented it all on this channel, weren't very good. But today, 2025, we've been doing quite well. So I'm going to go through my exact process, how I got from here to here. So drawdown is natural. As I mentioned, end of 2024, had the 100k challenge that I was documenting on this channel, the Road to 1 Million in Forex Funding series that I document every week, all the trades, all the wins, all the losses. And I just got the account and I was documenting it. I was being real, showing everything. And I took 4 losses in a row from November to December. It was quite a slow period for my style, and I ended up taking 4 losses in a row. And added more pressure because I was documenting it with the public opinions and people saying your strategy doesn't work. And this is where most people would struggle. Losing is hard anyway. The human emotion of losing money and being wrong are things you don't want to have, and it's so difficult to overcome that. And that's why most people struggle when they self-sabotage and they struggle during the drawdown phase. As I mentioned, it was a slow period for my market, for my style. So it was quite difficult to get out of drawdown if you're not taking trades, and so it can play on your mind a lot longer. And as I mentioned, the pressure of trading is hard anyway when you're trying to make money, but when you're having opinions, which I love the opinions, I love the comments, the likes, and the subscriptions on this channel, but it can add more pressure. So it was a difficult period, and the lessons I learned, I can pass on to you guys. So I reflected initially and I analysed, were the losses part of my plan? I looked at my exact plan and I thought, was it part of my plan? I identified if the trades that I took were part of the plan, and if they weren't, I thought, why? Was it to do with my emotions? Was it to do with my psychology? Was it to do because maybe I haven't took many trades and it's slow for my period, slow for my style, so I'm just trying to itch to get into positions to have that dopamine hit through trading. And if they were part of my plan, then I looked and thought, okay, that's not a problem. If I took a loss that was part of my plan, that isn't necessarily bad. As I mentioned, not wrong taking a loss if it's part of your plan, because no strategy is going to win 100% of the time. Most strategies, well, it can vary, but my strategy is about 50 to 55% win rate. So I have to be aware if it's a perfect setup that's part of my plan, I'm aware that I'm still going to lose 50 to 45 to 50% of the time. So if it was part of my plan, I shouldn't have cause for concern to look to do anything rogue or do anything crazy. So another thing which you guys have to be aware of, and this is what helped me massively, is understanding that a good trade isn't always a winner and a bad trade isn't always a loser. Just because I took 4 losses in a row, then that doesn't automatically mean that it's bad and that I don't know how to trade and that my strategy doesn't work. That could be the sequence of probability of the losing period. And identifying that a good trade isn't always a winner. Just because you won that day or that week, or you passed that account quickly because you over risk, doesn't mean you're going to have longevity, because it could just be luck. So you have to identify that a losing trade, if it's part of your plan, even if it loses, it's still a good trade. And a winning trade, if it had nothing to do with your plan, it was just a rogue random trade, isn't good. Just because you made money doesn't mean it's good. And that's an important distinction to have, because I didn't have this when coming into the markets. And a lot of people don't have this. They think, if I make money that day, it's good. If I lose money, it's bad. No, stick with your plan. So this reflection period was difficult. Obviously, like I mentioned, with you're documenting on YouTube, one of the only real people that are showing everything week upon week, and I'm having to show my losses, which is never comfortable, never nice anyway. But I thought, I'll look at my plan, identify whether there were good trades or not, and then backtest my exact plan to build my confidence back up again. Because backtesting doesn't resolve everything, but it gives you confidence that executing your exact plan and having the data to suggest that you have long-term positive expectancy gives you confidence. So that's exactly what I did. I went through all the pairs that I traded. One year of data. I think of 2023. I didn't do 2024 because that was that trading year. I did 2023 and I backtested the whole data, whole entries, bias, my whole plan, and that gave me a lot of confidence moving forward, because I saw the positive expectancy. I understood how many losses can regularly occur in a row, and 4 is normal in any trading plan. 4 losses in a row is normal, and the reason why people struggle with drawdown, I think, is because when they look online on Instagram, YouTube, no one is really showing the losses, because it makes them look bad. It makes them look like they can't trade because of that perception. And the problem with that is most people that don't show the losses, So then the people look at these people and think they never lose, they're fantastic, they know what they're doing, they're never wrong. And when they then in their personal life have losses, they struggle to accept that, well, what is this about? I don't think anyone takes losses, or it's so rare to take a loss. No, losing is normal, it's part of your plan, it's part of probability. So once I reflected, understood my plan, the recovery phase, and this is where I thought, okay, I have the data. I joined the community that I used to join, that trade the exact same style. I thought I'd get around them and look at any of the mistakes I'm making. How was it that my quality of setup? Was it to do with, like, why am I losing when I know I have from the back-tested data, I have positive expectancy? What is it that I'm doing, or is it a psychological thing? So I joined the community, had the confidence from my back-testing data. I understood my plan. Was aware that losses will happen. Again, from the back-testing data, I can see that I can take 3-4 losses in a row and still have a fantastic year on that one currency pair. So just because I had a couple of losses in a row doesn't matter. This is massively important, guys. You have to be aware of this, and this is what I'm messed up on in the early stages of when I started trading. Don't look to change things straight away. Stick with the plan. In order to allow your edge to play out, you have to go through the losing and the winning. And during the losing phase, I used to always look to change something, change the entry slightly because I wouldn't have got stopped out in that individual case, or change my whole style, change my entry plan, change my management plan. No. If you have a style and a strategy that you back tested that works, you have to stick with it. I'm not saying stick with it forever, but give it long enough period of time to play out. Give it a large sample size of trades to allow it to play out. Because if you change, which is what I did, I'd take a couple of losses, like in this case before, that what I'm showing you. A couple of years ago, I would have done this exact thing. I would have then saw something on Instagram, saw something on YouTube of someone passing a funded account or making X amount of money, trading a completely different style. And because I thought, oh, well, this style doesn't work, I'm down 4%, I've took 4 losses, I would then change to that style, have like this like break-even dance where like I take a win, take a loss, take a win, take a loss, and then realize that style has drawdown and losing periods too, but they're not showing it on social media. And then when I go back to my normal style, which is this style, I've missed all the potential winners, like in this case, all these winners, because I've been looking at a different time frame, a different entry, a different style. So you have to give it large enough sample size, large enough time frame to allow your plan to play out. So just because you take a few losses, don't change anything. If you have a plan that works and you know works through your back-tested data, then you have to stick with it for a long enough period of time, and that's what I didn't do. And then I got focused outside of trading, and this is a big thing as well. You have to be disciplined outside of trading. You execute your plan. You become the edge alongside your trading plan. So if you aren't disciplined and you aren't doing the things you know you should be doing, and it's different for everyone, but for me, getting up at a certain time, realistically early, like between 5:30 and 7, so I'm aware, I know what I'm looking at for that trading day. Going to the gym, non-negotiable. I have to hit the gym, even if I don't want to, at least 5 times a week. Build the body, build the mind, and be focused outside of trading, because you're the sort of vehicle. You have your trading plan, but you're the one in control of it. And if you self-sabotage during drawdown periods, or you can't execute your plan and you're not disciplined outside of trading, how do you expect to execute your plan in a disciplined manner? So I literally eliminated all bad habits like going out drinking. I would just have non-alcoholic beer. I would have Coke. I'd sit with my friends who would have drinks, and I'd be so focused and thinking, how am I going to turn this around? Especially with the YouTube, people watching the channel. And again, I'm still improving. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm documenting it, and I'm just wanting to share my transformation from last year to this year, because this is going to help a lot of people. And as you can see, from the start of January, we've took good quality trades. Part of my plan, the exact similar entry model, or the same entry model, the same bias as the losing, but in this case 1.5%, 1.4, 1.4, 1.5, 2.1, 1.3. So we're currently sat for Q1, January, February and March for 6.7%, which is not bad at all when you look at industry standards. You see on social media a lot of people saying, I made X amount this month, or I made 10% month. If you can make 6.7% in Q1, and then you make this again and again and again, you're going to have, by the end of the year, if I continue at this rate, maybe a 20, 25, 30% year, which is fantastic returns, because it's consistent, it's low risk, it's not having high swings in the account. And on the FTMO challenge, which I'm documenting, I'm currently up 2.88% from being down 4%. So We're doing okay. We're progressing. Like I said, I'll be documenting my whole process. I have been documenting. If you're new, you can watch all the videos from the past and me showing the drawdown phase, the win. Now we've come out of drawdown at the start of 2025. But yeah, that's how I would approach drawdown and losing. If you're going through drawdown, you have to understand your plan like rigorously. You need to understand exactly what you need to be doing. You need to understand if you have an edge in the first place. And if you don't, you need to find an edge through, I mean, there's many ways, but like a lot of people don't try to change things. If you know a community, or it doesn't matter which strategy you trade, but have something that has an edge, and then identify, was the trades that you took part of your plan? If they weren't part of your plan, why? Was it an emotional thing? You're not patient enough, or you're too risky, or you want to be involved in the market all the time. You're not disciplined outside of trading, so you're not executing your plan in a disciplined way. And then once you've done that, you need to focus on, if the losses occurred and you took a losing streak and you had a losing streak, were they part of your plan? And if they were, and if the majority were, identify that as just probability and keep executing the plan in a disciplined way, not making too many mistakes, and then allow the winning part of the edge to play out. And usually the winning part of the edge is more risk reward, so 2 to 1s, 1.3s, 1.4s, because I risk 1%, I would lose 1% around 0.9%. Some of the other losses were about 1%. And focus on sticking with your plan. And that's all you can do. And then if the plan doesn't suit you, once you've got a large sample size of data and you think this isn't suiting me, then you can look to change. But don't look to change things so quick, because you're just going to be on this break-even cycle where you change, look for something new, have this dopamine, have this excitement, new strategy, I'm going to make loads of money. And then you have a drawdown period with that. Oh, trading doesn't work, let's look at something else. Back to this. Stick with one thing and master that entry style, that bias, and focus on what you're doing. And if you have drawdown, it's going to happen. Identify the fact that it's going to happen. So, yeah, hope you guys got value from this video. Slightly different. I'll have next week's looking fantastic in the markets for the style. There's a lot of volatility, obviously, with the Trump tariffs and everything. So, hopefully we can take some good positions. I'll be documenting my road to 1 million in Forex funding series. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you have got value from this video. It'd help the channel grow. Trying to get to 5k subscribers. That'd be incredible milestone if we can hit that. So yeah, I appreciate the support, and I'll see you in the next one.